Hello, Ken Barron once again with the NABWNT topic today. Ugandans flee ahead of a harsh anti-gay law. Uganda's parliament passed a sweeping anti-gay bill in late March that threatens punishment as severe as death for some perceived offences and calls for life in prison for anyone engaging in same-sex relationships. They said, quote, "We will hunt you. You gays should be killed. We will slaughter you." The bill, which passed 387 to 2, punishes anyone who releases property to gay people and calls for the, quote, rehabilitation of those convicted of being gay. The Uganda president congratulated lawmakers and religious leaders on what he called their strong stand against LGBTQ people and said, "It is good that you rejected the pressure from the imperials," he said, a reference to Western countries in footage released by the public broadcaster. The legislation follows a groundswell of anti-gay rhetoric that has swept African countries in recent years, including Ghana, Zambia, and Kenya. Last month, lawmakers from more than a dozen African countries gathered in Uganda and promised to introduce or pass measures in their own countries that said they would protect the sanctity of the family and children against, quote, the sin of homosexuality. Same-sex acts were already considered illegal under Uganda's penal code, but the bill introduces far harsher penalties and vastly extends the range of perceived offences. And while anti-gay rhetoric has long existed in Uganda, it has taken a severe turn in the past year, with authorities removing rainbow colours from a park and parents charging into school because they thought a gay person taught there. The latest move to target LGBTQ people in Uganda has drawn support from local Christian and Muslim groups, and for years, the financial and logistically backing of some conservative evangelical groups in the United States. One of the key organizers was Family Watch International, an Arizona-based organization that spreads anti-LGBTQ and anti-abortion stances, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center. The Ugandan bill has drawn condemnation from human rights groups in the United Nations, and the Biden administration has called it, quote, one of the most extreme anti-gay measures anywhere in the world. Senator Bob Menendez, Democrat of New Jersey, said the U.S. should reduce military aid and introduce sanctions against the government who have been in power for almost 4 decades in Uganda. The East African nation, a close security ally of the United States, receives more than $950 million annually in health and development assistance. For LGBTQ Ugandans, the bill is set to further formalize the widespread discrimination that many felt daily. In interviews, more than a dozen gay Ugandans who had fled to Kenya described how their friends, families, and neighbors turned against them over the past year, as renewed anti-gay sentiment swept over the conservative nation. In Parliament, lawmakers promoted the baseless allegation that there was a plot to promote homosexuality in schools. Officials vilified gay people on television and in social media. And while military officials said they should be denied medical care. In the streets, Muslims marched against them, and in Christian churches, clerics urged congregants to remain watchful about their efforts to lure children into homosexuality. Last August, the authorities took their most dramatic action yet when they closed the Sexual Minorities Uganda, the country's leading gay rights group. Among the provisions of Uganda's anti-gay bill is the prohibition, what is called the promotion of homosexuality. lawyers said the clause could put activists and aid agencies supporting gay rights at risk of criminal liability. This could include American-funded health programs supporting LGBTQ people who had come under scrutiny and attack when Uganda enacts similar laws that court struck down in 2014. The State Department spokesman said if the bills were ratified, it would leave the funding for PEPFAR, the American program that delivers HIV treatment to millions. It would be severely compromised. It also jeopardized Uganda's progress towards ending AIDS as a public health threat by 2030, the statement said. Also, a Kenyan lawmaker said his bill would also include returning sexually prosecuted refugees, many of them are dispersed in camps across Kenya, to their countries. Without evidence, he accused US Democrats in the Biden administration of funding them to promote homosexuality in Kenya. He also vowed that similar laws would soon extend across Africa. That warning has sown fear amongst LGBTQ Ugandans who said they felt a sigh of relief when they first crossed into Kenya. Many of them are already thinking of where to go next. Well, where I'd like you to go is certainly come back to this channel and visit NABWMT on the internet. We're talking about nabwmt.org. We're anti-homophobia and anti-racist organization, and we take pride in pointing out people at the margins that are in trouble, and certainly if they're gay, and African Americans, and more than that, around the world. We appreciate your help here in getting the word out. You can visit us also on our social media platforms. Subscribe, like, and comment. And we're also on Twitter. And I wish you the very best. Come back and listen to us, see us when you get a chance. Thanks a lot.